Method podcast. We're your hosts, Matt and Tamar. We are so excited to see you guys today. Things for us are going fantastically well. They're always going well. Life is a beautiful journey. We just got back. We're still riding the high from Monterey, California, where we were with the Owners Club. Absolutely profound, phenomenal. We ran a breakout room for 3 hours straight, and it was packed. No seats available, standing room only. So thank you to everybody who joined us for that. And it was really an amazing event. We had so many connections, so many people that are now close, we call friends, who are now becoming family, and deep, impactful conversations with people we just met who are seeking their purpose, seeking their path, who we actually had the opportunity to help on their journey. So we're riding the high.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were just chatting right before we hopped on here about how excited I am. I'm full of adrenaline right now because in one phone call, I received a really massive opportunity that could be a really big deal for us. And it all happened because of the connection. Mm-hmm. So guys, if you are sitting and watching this, make an effort to get out of your living room, start going and doing the thing, because you need to create an energetic vessel for your abundance to find you. And that abundance cannot find you if you're not going out and meeting the right people. Yeah. Right? It's all about connection. It's all about the people that you meet. That's how the opportunities are going to come to you. So get out there and start doing the things so that you can start to be the magnet for the good that you desire. Also want to mention, if you are watching this, please hit the subscribe button and please like and comment. We really want to grow our channel and push this information out to as many people as possible. So it'll really help us out. So if you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe.
That's right. Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about a really cool topic called momentum. There's a saying that most of you have probably heard, and it's one that I use with our clients a lot. It's success loves speed. And the reason success loves speed, and that kind of ties into momentum, is because when you lose momentum, you lose energy, right? And we're learning, especially in this space, in the personal development and mindset, is that everything is coming to us because of our energy. Everything is attracted to us because of the energy we put out. So what happens when you lose that momentum and you lose that energy, you start slowing your abundance from being attracted to you, right? You slow the blessings and the gifts that are on their way to you. And really to the point where you can slow them to a stop, and then you can actually block them. So we don't want to do that. And we see this a lot where people will be on their way, they're starting a new business, they're starting to get into real estate, they're doing something for the first time, and then they start getting in their head, they stop controlling and choosing their thoughts. And what happens is they lose the speed, they lose the momentum, and they shift their thoughts into the fear, the doubt, the worry, the lack, and the scarcity. And that sets up that feeling and that vibration of fear, right? And what happens in your body when you feel fear is it prevents you from taking action. So that property that you think might be a good investment, that you're told that it is, and you've done the math on, you start sitting and start allowing the fear and the anxiety and the doubt to really, really ruminate in your mind, and it prevents you from actually putting in an offer. And you end up blocking your abundance. So momentum is huge. Speed and execution is huge. And really success waits for no one, right? And because we live in an age where information and communication is so fast, it's so quick, you can text someone across the world on WhatsApp and they receive that message almost instantaneously. There is no waiting for deals, right? So if you think something is good, if you think there's an opportunity, you have to move on it now. You can't wait till tomorrow. You can't wait till next week. It's gone, right? So understanding the power of momentum and the power and speed of execution is great for business, but it's great for everything else in life. It needs to be implemented for relationships, decision-making, everything.
Yeah, 100%. We are coming off the high of being in a conference where everyone is feeling the buzz and the connection, and everyone is really excited and highly motivated. And then what happens is there's sort of this transition period as people return home, and all of a sudden the high wears off and the buzz wears off, and then all of those ambitions also sometimes start to wear off. And I talked to multiple people that mentioned that they have a really hard time keeping up that energy, right? Keeping up that momentum. And I always say, and I've said this time and time again, and if you are in one of our coaching programs or you've heard me speak before, I say this all the time, and that is that when we are away from home, when we are traveling, when we are on vacation, when we are at these conferences, yes, I'm at my highest vibration, but I don't feel differently in the conferences or on the vacation than I do at home. I tap into those same high vibration feelings right here, right now, day out. You can
Mm-hmm.
take me and you can put me in a beautiful location with a beautiful pool and a beautiful beach and a beautiful hotel, and I will appreciate it so much, and I will soak it in, and I will memorize it, and I will really get in touch with how those feelings feel in my body. But the vibration, the feeling, the momentum, the energy, the motivation that I have is the same day in and day out, right? And that's how you learn to live from the inside out, right? It shouldn't take a conference or a vacation for you to be able to tap into those feelings of abundance and feelings of connections and feelings of the high vibration. When you really learn to live from the inside out, and when you really become a manifester of the good that you desire, it's when you are able to tap into those feelings regardless of where you are. Your three-dimensional environment shouldn't have this ability to get you into a vibration that you're not able to tap into doing, your daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the work. That's the essence of living from the inside out, is when you can learn, what does it feel like in my body when I'm on my highest vibration? Who am I, right? How do I present myself to the world? What kinds of things do I think about and do I say, right? Because you can do all of those things right now at home.
Mm-hmm.
You can be that person now. You don't need to be your magnetic, dynamic, outgoing, excited, powerful, confident self only when you're around other people or when you're on vacation and everything's easy, right? You have to tap into all of those feelings every single day on your own. Yours.
What?
What do you?
No, I'm listening. I think it's great. You're doing great.
Yeah, I saw. I lost you for a minute.
No, I'm just listening. This is something that people, I think, definitely struggle with, um, for a lot of good reason, right? It's really hard for them when they're not living from the inside out to maintain that energy, and learning to live from the inside out when you can be the creator of your energy, when you understand that this is not something that you find externally. That's when life really opens up and life will change. You become the master of your thoughts. You choose the things that you think about, which actually create and set up your vibration. It's not the other way around. It's not, I get amped up when I go to a conference and I get so energized when I go see Tony Robbins live, and then I go home and I'm miserable again. That's living from the outside in. That's living like the 99% of the world. So really, it's a process that really, like anything, we're always going back to the very basic number one thing, and that is you have to control the way that you think. That is the fundamental basis of everything, because if you don't control the way that you think, then you're not controlling your vibration. You're not controlling how you feel. So if you don't have control of creating your vibration, your environment's doing it for you, which means you're reactive, which means when something bad happens, you feel low. When something is really hard, you feel stressed, right? That's a terrible way to live. I lived that way the first 39 years of my life. It's terrible. You feel frustrated. You feel out of control. You feel trapped. Sometimes you feel like you're drowning.
Your day-to-day routine feels boring and
Oh,
mundane.
boring is an understatement.
For the next conference just to make you feel excited and happy. You need
Yeah.
something to happen in order to access feelings of excitement and motivation and joy. And
You need something. And I think that leads to a lot of people leaning to negative things. addiction, they're seeking casino excitement, even like toxic relationships, right? Like your life is so dull and so boring and you're frustrated, so you end up causing fights with people just to entertain yourself because you're releasing those hormones in your body that are exciting. And fear and excitement are very closely related, especially chemically in the brain. This is something that we do as human beings to entertain ourselves, right? And it's sick, but it's how we work.
Yeah, or on the flip side, you do the opposite. And because your day to day routine is what it is and you find it boring and you're waiting for that next milestone or conference or deal to get that excitement going, then you actually default back into procrastination and
Mm-hmm.
lack of motivation and actually going back to not doing the things that are going to get you to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're just waiting for the next event or the next conference or the next Zoom call or the next, deal or opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
where in fact you're not going out and creating it because you've lost your momentum and you've gone back into your daily routine, which you do on autopilot, and it doesn't require you to think too much, which then just brings you back into a vibration that's not a magnet for what you want.
Yeah, I think so. Understanding that for most people, they lose momentum because they have no control of their vibration, they have no control of their own energy, because they have no control of choosing and thinking in the proper way, right? We know this from Bob Proctor that most of us are never taught how to think. Most of us think we think, but very few of us actually know how to think in a way that we control our thoughts to set up our vibration. So what that has to do with momentum is everything, because what happens in life is there will be opportunity in abundance in your life. Some of those opportunities you're blind to. Some of them are not in the right timing because you're not in the right energy. Most of those opportunities are there for a very short period of time. And so when an opportunity presents itself and you have lost that energy and you've lost that momentum, it's really difficult to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. Often we are in the low energy and we actually never get into the room where the door of opportunity is. We don't even get to the building because we are in such a low energy. We're like, this conference is too much money. I can't afford it. I'm not even going to go. It's better if I just stay and work my job. Maybe I'll pick up some overtime. And that's a better and wiser decision instead of being so frivolous and just spending money on, spending $3,000 flying to wherever you're going, Texas, for a conference. That's the limited mindset. Those are the limiting beliefs that keep you from being in the room. And inside of that room, there is a door. And that door is a door of opportunity. But it only exists if you get into that room. But that door will only open for a very brief period. And if you lose momentum, you won't be able to get to it. Right? And so those little, I call them windows and doors, those windows of opportunity, those doors of opportunity, they really only present themselves when you have the right energy, when you're moving forward and pushing out of your comfort zone, but then you're also in that momentum of high vibration to actually take advantage of that opportunity.
Well, yeah, I mean, the momentum needs to keep going when you get home. You need to become an expert at the follow through, right? The follow through is how you are going to keep your momentum going. So don't lose focus when you get home. Don't slip back into your regular routine. Really take advantage of the contacts that you've met. Start following up. Keeping the momentum going is going to require a lot of discipline, because you might get home and think like, yeah, I'll email that person later, and later never happens, right? And maybe you now missed out because you didn't keep the momentum going because you slipped back into your old habits, right? And you didn't follow up and follow through with the people that you met or with the opportunities, because you need to keep that going. And so momentum, your motivation is probably going to, dip a little when you get home. And so it's that consistency that you're going to have through the discipline of following up.
I was going to say, like, it goes further than just conferences and getting home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You're talking specifically because we just got back from a conference, but I think it goes so much further. I think you'll agree. It goes to all scenarios in life. It's not just momentum after you come home from something exciting. Yes. It's continuing the momentum all the time, regardless, like you said. Doesn't matter if you're on a vacation or you're at a conference. It doesn't matter where you are, what moment you are in your life, or where you are physically. You're continuing the momentum to partake and really receive those opportunities because of the energy that you're in.
Yes, that's very true. I definitely agree with that. Yes, it doesn't rely on just going to a physical conference. The
Mm-hmm.
momentum is something that you're going to have to build for yourself, and you're going to achieve that through creating the self-image of someone who is successful and is wanting to achieve more. Because unless you want to achieve more than what you already have, you're not going to continue that momentum. So practical advice for people that are sitting at home and going like, gosh, yeah, you know what, I do kind of slip back down and I do kind of lose momentum. How do I fix that? So one of the things that you need to do is you need to access the feelings in your physical body of how it feels when the momentum is going and you're excited and you're doing the things and you're feeling really productive and your confidence is high and you're reaching out to people and you're being the go-getter. If it's health, right? How good does it feel when you finally get into the routine of going to the gym and being fit? You feel so good when you get home, right? And then that momentum, unless you keep going, it's going to go away, right? And maybe you'll skip a day and then all of a sudden the day becomes 2 days and then, you'll talk yourself out of it before you even know what happened. So first, you need to access the feelings in your body. How does it feel when I'm in the flow? How does it feel when I'm keeping the momentum going? Let me tap into those feelings of excitement. What can I do right now today that's going to make me feel productive and energized and like I'm moving forward in life, be it health, be it in my relationship, right? If you want to keep the momentum going, maybe you're starting to establish a new dynamic with your partner. Maybe you guys have been feeling a little stale lately. Maybe your relationship has felt stuck. So let me reach out to my partner, right? Let me send that spontaneous note. Let me write them a letter. Let me go to the store and buy them something nice so that they know that I'm thinking about them. Let me do the things that I know are going to get that ball rolling, right? The other thing is
Keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. Yes, keep the momentum going if you're already doing that, right? If you are in the business world and you feel like, I've already got momentum going, I'm so busy all day long, I'm doing all the things because I'm an entrepreneur. Cool. Maybe it's time to level up.
Cool.
Yeah. Maybe you need to raise your standards for yourself. Maybe you being a super high achiever and always feeling busy, maybe you need to audit your day. Right?
Well, busy doesn't necessarily mean productive.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean equate to momentum.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. You need to audit your day, right? So that all of your action is intentional. Maybe you need to raise your standards. Maybe you're too busy. Maybe you're doing a lot of unnecessary things that you shouldn't be doing, that you would be better spent meditating with family, making memories, or taking things off of your plate. Right. And so you need to really start to think about the self-image as well of the person that has what you want, right? And you need to live as that person now. And sometimes there's a really big gap between living as the person that has the things you want and working toward being the things and being the person that you want to be. And that takes a lot of effort. That's a lot of work right there. If you can start to master living as your future self every single day, you will keep the momentum going. Because the person that has the things that you want to have, the person that does the things that you want to do, they are someone who is motivated. They are someone who has really picked a task and stuck to it.
More than that, 100% agree. I think adding to what you're saying is more than motivation is the clarity of the goals, right? Because that's where you get the consistency from, right? Because, I mean, we say this all the time, motivation is puddle deep. You can't stay motivated on the hard days. It's really difficult to stay motivated. And in order to be motivated and inspired all the time means that you're reaching externally for a source to make you motivated. And what we're trying to get you to understand is you can get to a place where you control your thoughts and you control and choose your vibration. You no longer need to search externally to be motivated. So when you become emotionally attached to your goals because they are worthy and they have purpose attached to them, that's what puts you through into action, because it sets up that feeling of already, like Tamar was explaining, having that wish fulfilled. You've already seen yourself accomplishing the thing. You already become the person now. So it's further and deeper than motivation, because you're no longer needing to reach externally for motivation, inspiration. You create it from within by having that emotional connections to your goals.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you said that, because that's actually a really important point. If you're not clear on your goal and you don't know what that wish or desire for you is, it's going to be nearly impossible to keep any sort of momentum going.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you said that, because you're so right. I mean, if you're lacking clarity and if you are not thinking big enough, then of course you're going to slip back into your habits, because you're going to want to prefer to be comfortable. Your mind, we talk about this all the time, your mind wants to be safe and comfortable, and it wants everything to be on autopilot. It wants your body to just be able to do the things without thinking.
And what else is your mind?
Your mind is your subconscious mind and your conscious mind.
No, what's your saying?
Oh, yeah. What am I saying? Yeah, your mind.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Your mind is a toddler.
There you go.
Your mind is very naughty by nature. It doesn't want to do hard things. It wants to do what's comfortable. And if you take your eyes off of it for 1 second, it is going to do naughty things, and it is going to talk you out of everything that you possibly want to do. It is also going to be very self-critical. It is going to say naughty things to you about yourself. And so you need to put a boundary on that thing. You need to be very intentional with the thoughts that you think, right? And so this is all a matter. I think that the way to sum this whole conversation up, and it's the same way to sum up all of our conversations, and it is that you need to learn to harness the power of your mind.
100%. That's always the number one. Yeah. That's always the number one point here, guys. I hope that you're following this podcast and understanding that if you learn nothing else, that is the most important skill you can learn in life, is to harness the power of your mind and control your thoughts.
Yes.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
We're talking about momentum of action, momentum and speed of action. I want to kind of talk a little bit in another aspect and reframe momentum for people. And think of momentum in terms of the momentum of an idea. So we see this all the time, and actually very recently with a lot of our people in our community, is they will have this moment of divine inspiration, right? This moment of beautiful vision of this goal, of this thing that they could achieve and they accomplish. And it's a beautiful idea. And I say, amazing. That sounds great. Go take action on it. But what happens is they're not continuing the momentum of giving energy to the idea. So, and again, we know how action starts. It starts with setting up the feelings, but those feelings come from your thoughts. So if you're not creating the momentum of the thinking, where you continue the momentum, like, oh my God, I have this idea to start XYZ business, or I have this idea to do XYZ for someone else. If you don't entertain that idea and continue the momentum of giving energy to that idea, it will certainly die, preventing the vibration that you need to be in that causes the action, which creates the results. So this is the really big thing, because we've talked about the momentum of action, but the momentum of an idea is fundamental in creating that action, right? And what happens when what we see is people will have these ideas and then there's no action behind it. And it's not because they choose consciously to not do anything about it and they're not being lazy. It's just that they've simply not trained their mind enough to continue to give momentum and energy to that idea. So if you have a big, beautiful idea, if you have this moment of inspiration to be a billionaire, start a startup, create a fund, start a new business, whatever it is, give that idea a ton of energy and continue the momentum and let it build. Because the more energy you give, the more attention you give to that idea, the more it's going to set up that vibration, pushing you into action, which will actually bring it to fruition.
Yeah, and for anybody that just listened to you say that about becoming a billionaire, starting a fund, and they were like, oh yeah, and that's not me. No, that's you.
Well, there's the limiting beliefs.
Exactly, because you and your momentum will not act on thoughts that you don't believe could be true for you. You have 3 to 5 seconds after you form an idea to follow up with it or follow through with it, or it's gone. And you will lose all motivation to do the thing that you just thought of. And it could have been the most life-changing idea you've ever had. but in that split millisecond that your mind processed it, you immediately didn't believe yourself and you talked yourself out of it.
That's self-image.
That's self-image.
Like you said. And I would encourage anyone, if you're listening, this is how we identify limiting beliefs. So you ask yourself to do something and to achieve something that is far beyond anything you've ever done in your entire life, that almost seems unattainable and unimaginable. So like, do something, I'm going to be a billionaire, and let that sit and see what kind of limiting beliefs come up, because there's going to be a lot. And then you need to ask yourself, why do I believe that? So if you say to yourself, I'm going to go be a billionaire and I'm going to start an online, business selling products on Amazon, doing whatever they call that, drop shipping. Fine. I'm going to be a billionaire doing that. Immediately, the thoughts are going to creep in. I could never do that. Think about just that first one. I could never do that. Why do you think so little of your own potential? Why do you have such little belief in your own potential? Just because you're looking at what you've achieved in the past. There is a lot of self-image work to be done just with that one question. Just that one. To identify that this is an idea that you have entertained so many times in your mind that now is a belief in your subconscious that you hold true. But we're here to tell you it's false. It's absolutely false, and you can achieve anything in this world as soon as you believe it and get rid of the limiting beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, look, you want to talk about momentum. So a belief is a thought that you have thought repeatedly. Then it becomes a belief. So think about when you have thoughts that are negative about yourself, those gain momentum. And before you know it, you now identify with a story that you've told yourself that's caught on, right? And it's had that impact on you to where it's now a part of your story, or you now think it's a part of your personality. So the same amount of momentum that you need to take in action is the same amount of momentum that you need to build in your mind, thinking new thoughts about yourself and what is possible.
Agreed.
Right? The fundamentals of learning to harness your mind and thinking into, the good that you desire, it's going to require your mind to start to catch on and build momentum through thinking the thoughts of the person that you want to be, and letting the other thoughts, all other thoughts, lose their momentum that they've had a hold in your mind for so long, for so many years and often decades.
I just had a moment of inspiration.
Oh.
As you were saying that, everything that you just said reminded me of Bob Proctor's program that we took and we were so transformed by and really impacted our lives, thinking into results. But as you were saying that, as I'm thinking into results is just the beginning. It's really just the first step. When you get to the next level, you're thinking from abundance. And it's not thinking into results, because thinking into results is actually a very good way to begin. But when you actually understand that everything comes to you from within, and you create from within, instead of attracting it and externally bringing it to you, you actually create it from within before it comes to you. You create it. So thinking from abundance, where you are the abundance. Everything that comes in life is from within you because of your energy. That just hit me, and I thought maybe that's the name of my book.
Yeah, I like that.
Thinking from abundance.
Right, because thinking into results, you're right, it's the starting point, because you need to think about the things that you want, right? You need to think into, the person that you want to become. But then once things start to happen, you're right, then you need to access the Neville Goddard, living from the good that you desire, living from the end, living as if you were the person, right? So anybody who hasn't picked up The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, very short book. I often read the whole thing in a day, or I listen to the audiobook. The audiobook on Audible is only about 2 hours. You can get through the whole thing, but it's deep.
It's very good. Yeah.
I mean, it is deep. And so, yeah, you're right. In the beginning, there's a lot of thinking into the things that you want, and building that momentum. And then it kind of flips, because it becomes a matter of thinking from the position of the person, because you need to be something before you can have something.
Yeah, it goes to a whole new level. That's why this is a total journey. That's why we're a few years into our journeys, but we are still evolving, we're still learning, and this is a never-ending process. And as you continue to dive in and go deeper, I don't think I could, step one, on the first day of this journey of mine, been told, You have to just think from the end.
No.
See yourself as a billionaire.
Right.
I'd be like, what are you talking about? We're
Right.
like 65 going on to $75,000 in debt. We're like
Yeah.
driving deep into debt, no net worth, and you want me to just see myself as a billionaire? That's quack.
You wouldn't even know how a billionaire thinks at that point.
Or how they feel.
Right, because you haven't even accessed any of those feelings yet.
Mm-hmm. So it is a step-by-step process, and it does have different levels and layers, but that's what makes the journey so amazing. And that's why I make this, I'm going to do a post about it. That's why I make this face. I'm like, when people say like, oh no, I'm good with mindset. Like I'm good there.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no end to this.
You said that.
This is like an infinite journey that never ends.
When we were $65,000 in debt, you thought you had a good mindset.
Oh yeah, no, I said it before I ever entered into the journey because I had no idea what it was. I would never have said it since I joined. Since I started my personal growth and development, I would never say that because as I'm learning, every single day it gets deeper. Every single day it gets better. But yeah, I did say that when I was, first 39 years of my life, when I lived from the outside in and everything affected me and I reacted to my environment, I thought I had a great mindset.
Well, because you equated working really hard and having a hard work ethic as having a good mindset.
Yeah.
Let's do a fun exercise. So tell me, what are the thoughts or actions right now that you're going to be building momentum in the next 6 months?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're driving forward on many opportunities. Mm-hmm. So one area where we're focusing our momentum is building a partnership with certain individuals in our community to drive their business forward as a collaboration. And this was an idea that started, and we're pushing it forward with momentum by following up, by having meetings and scheduling Zoom calls. And
we're brainstorming strategies for that
constantly.
To be able to use.
We're pouring in the time, the energy, and the intention with the momentum. Not being like, oh, we're not going to see you for another 30 to 60 days. Well, we'll see you then. Then it's dead.
Yeah, we'll keep talking about it then. We'll pick up where we left off.
No, like we're working every day and we're building on that momentum with the energy, the ideas, and then actions behind it in building and scaling something for a collaboration. So that's one area. The next one is business acquisitions. Like I'm putting time and intention every day with my partner, Tyler Ralph, in the community, and we're looking at acquiring businesses across the U.S. So that's a momentum that I'm not losing. We're continuing to underwrite deals. We're continuing to put out LOIs on businesses that are going to cash flow us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year once we acquire them. So those are the actions and those are the thoughts that I'm having every day that I'm giving energy to, and I'm continuing the momentum.
What is a self-image piece that you are working on building momentum for yourself?
I'm not working or building, it's there. I see myself as the billionaire and I have for a while.
So the momentum is there.
The momentum is built and kept every day. I think that's what has led to a lot of the transformation for myself is being able to see myself at the end, like not the end, but very far in the future, say 10 years out, and I can see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, smell it, and I can feel how I feel, and I can feel it now.
Yeah. Okay. This is interesting, actually. So, because you're right. I know that you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you feel it.
It changes how I act.
You felt it in months where we couldn't pay our rent. You were still feeling like it. So let me ask you, for people who are watching this, when you have a setback, when you have months where things are not working out, lenders, are calling and breathing down your neck, or you get, a renovation bill that's twice as much as it was supposed to.
Or you lose money, or you get a lawsuit.
Or you get a lawsuit. So how do you still continue to maintain the momentum in those moments?
Belief. The way that you maintain momentum is understanding that you see the future so vividly that you believe that it's real and that nothing else is true. So I saw something, I forget where I saw it, but it's that poor people end up believing their fears and doubts. And wealthy people believe their dreams and their visions. So I give no energy to my fears, my worries, my doubts. I give them no energy because I know that they're all complete lies. So when I have something that happens externally, when I see something that happens externally, like a hardship or a trial or a challenge or a hurdle or maybe something that's seemingly very stressful, it doesn't really matter to me anymore because I know it's temporary. I know that I'm meant for more, so I have belief in my purpose, and I know that I will achieve it because I'm not giving up, and I'm going to drive forward. I'm going to drive through it, around it. I'm going to find a way no matter what. Yeah. So no matter what comes, it doesn't matter how hard it is.
Yeah. Well, and the other part of that too is I think that you already recognize that those setbacks mean nothing.
Yeah.
They're just your stepping stone to becoming a better entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And each setback is just an opportunity to problem solve and be creative.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's another separating factor between the wealthy and the poor is a mindset of being wealthy and poor. People who are in a poor mindset see a problem as, oh my God, why is this happening to me? It's very victim mentality. Life is so hard. Why do I have all these bills? Why do people keep stealing from me? Why do people keep hurting me? It's very victim mentality. A wealthy mindset says, look at this challenge. It's not a problem because a problem is like, I have like 3 days to live, stage 4 cancer. That's a problem. Anything outside of that is not a problem. It's just a challenge. This challenge is an opportunity for me to grow, learn, and overcome. So that's the wealthy mindset. So anything that comes my way, I'm like, great. The bigger the challenge, the more opportunity I have for growth. So I know and I see things differently now. So if I get an opportunity to lose $500,000, I'm like, this is amazing because I'm going to go out and make 4 million. I'm going to go and I'm going to use that. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. And this is pushing me somewhere else that I need to be. It's causing me to just put myself in a recalibrated way, to think differently, to see where am I missing something? What do I need to learn or grow from this so that I can go, instead of focusing on the loss, I'm pivoting and going, ooh, there's an opportunity for me to make 10 times that. Where is it? Let's go get it. And then that maintains the vibration and changes my actions.
That's the difference. That really is the difference, because people who are super high achievers, they just keep going. It's like, okay, problem, losing money. Okay, what do I need to do? And next. Whereas people that don't, that little challenge shatters their world. Then they get into victim mentality. Then they lose momentum because then they start questioning everything and fear and doubt creeps in, or they get stuck and they get so wired into the problem and they get so absorbed with what's happening that they forget to just continue the momentum that you had, step over the hurdle and just keep going.
Yeah.
This is not the thing that's going to, define you or
unless you let it
cause a pause, right, in the momentum that you've built.
And that's the distinction. People who are wealthy and who are able to do that, they understand all of these principles. They may not talk about them, but the top 1% elite successful people, they understand these mindset principles and they control their thoughts, they control their vibration, and they understand. And when you hear people say, like, I have heard many of my billionaire mentors say, I could lose it all tomorrow and I don't know exactly how to get it back. And I get it now. Like, if we lost our $10 million portfolio tomorrow, I'd be like, no problem. I'm going to go put an offer on a $20 million property the next day. Yeah. We're going to get it right back. Like, the momentum doesn't
stop because a problem arises. A problem is part of the process. And the sooner that you accept the challenges are always going to arise, the sooner that you are going to become successful.
That's the game.
That's the game. It's like, stop letting all these little challenges and obstacles shatter your world and stop you in your tracks. That's how you lose momentum.
Oh my God, I love this conversation so much. It's true. But it really is, like, it's taken me 2 years to cultivate that mindset.
Of course.
It's taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of repetition. It's taken me showing up every single morning at 4:30 to really work on me. I dedicate 3 hours a day to my mindset. Right?
Well, and also you have learned through your journey to change your perspective of what a big amount of money is.
Well, that started way early on. Yeah.
Because, we had last year a big loss. And
a small loss,
big loss to us then. A
big loss
what
at the time.
We considered to be a big loss.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, a year later, when we're also hearing other successful achievers, their stories of
Yeah.
much bigger losses, we're like, oh my God, we spent time, you know.
We lost 300,000, and then we're in a room hearing someone say, I lost
Yeah.
$1.5 million, and then
Right.
just the next day just had to let it go and move on.
So it's a perspective thing too, right?
Yeah.
You need to like expand your horizons here.
What I do now is I say, God, please give me challenges. Please allow me to learn the lessons where maybe I'm in a position one day where I lose $10 million, because I know, see, that makes me excited, because if I'm placed
Let's not put that out there.
If I'm placed with a challenge to lose
I
10
know.
million, it means that I'm certainly in a
Yes.
position to gain 10 times that. And
I get it.
I'm capable.
I know you are.
Right?
It's very
Let's maintain
Yeah, I
the
know.
momentum
Oof.
here.
And I've lost it. See, I deflated.
You're
But
like,
it's
oh my God, 10
yeah.
million.
Well,
That's not a
I
lot of
mean,
money.
look, I still like, I don't want. Yes,
That's not a lot of money
it's
now.
very David Guillaume of you, because he recently said that one of his employees stole $1 million from him. And somebody said, oh, that must have been so devastating. You must have felt so betrayed. And he said, well, there was an element of the betrayal, but we dealt with the employee. We didn't recover the money. But I said, thank you every day that the money was taken from me, because I knew that it was a sign that I was about to receive much more. And in fact, that is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
So in the moments of challenges and loss, you should in fact be really thankful, because all it means is that something bigger than you recognizes that you in fact are meant for more.
I want to point something out, though. If you're listening to this, it's not, if I lost a bunch of money, I'm going to sit in my house and I'm just going to expect more money to come to me. That's not how it works. What he is describing and why it works, and it's scientific, it's actually by law, is that when he knows he lost $1 million and he goes, I'm totally fine with that, because I know that the universe is abundant and I'll receive more. It's the energy that he's in at that exact moment, and the vibrational energy that he is pushing out into the universe, that is attracting more abundance. That's what operates by law. That's what's scientific. It's not that it's like this tally system where the universe is like, oh, you lost $1 million, I'm gonna send you 5 more. Don't worry, just go sit in your basement and just wait. It's not how it works. Everything comes to you because of the energy that you send out.
David Guillaume was able to lose the $1 million because he had the belief in himself.
Correct.
That he's able to create more abundance.
And that belief creates a vibration.
Yes.
And that vibration that he's sending out creates more abundance. That's the key to this whole thing. That's the key.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's self-image, it's belief, it's learning to harness your thoughts, it's the growth mindset, it's the law of non-resistance.
It's the vibration.
It's how you feel.
It's the energy that you send out, and that's going to bring you your abundance. So if you hit obstacles and you perceive them as problems, and you lose your momentum and you lose your energy and you drop your vibration, that's what's slowing, stopping, or blocking your abundance. Love it. Momentum. This is a great topic. This is a phenomenally powerful call. I think we got into a lot of different range of topics. If you're new to the channel, guys, like and subscribe. Lots more to come. Next week, we'll have another powerful topic, and we'll see you guys then.